This video is about this Hills Foldaline Compact 54 with line tensioners, specifically relining it or rewiring. My first step was to go online, and I searched for Hills Foldaline rewiring. I was able to find a Hills PDF document, which I've printed it out, and I've used that as the basis for my procedure. My next step was to gather the tools. I was able to find the line tensioner from the initial installation, which we had in the garage. These are the tools that I felt that I would be needing. My next step was to, of course, purchase the replacement line, which I got from the local hardware Bunnings store, and the instructions mentioned to lay it out. So I'm in the process of laying it out to avoid any tangles. The next step was to record how the old line had been installed. I noted this, I recorded this, and also to start removing the line, starting from the inside, so the internal knot, and then work your way out. They also mentioned to, when you reinstall the line, to keep the arms equally spaced. So I thought that to assist in that, I would leave the outer line in place until the last minute. So it's also noted that it mentions that at the start you leave a 1 metre length, then tie the knot there. I don't know why that is, but this is the initial installation, and there's certainly a metre there. So I'm going to cut that. At the tensioners, the instructions mention cutting 300mm either side, approximately 300mm either side of the tensioners. Then the tensioner can be rotated and the old line removed. After cutting either side of the tensioners, I found it easy to put a small screwdriver in to lift the centre of the tensioner, and then simply cut it and then pull the ends out. I have marked where the start knot was and removed the inner poly cable, also marking the final knot there. One important thing is to lay out carefully, unbundle, lay out the new polycarbonate or poly cable, poly rope. Okay, my wife and I have now threaded through the new poly line, and I'm just about to release the tied outer, just making a note of how that was the piece that I cut. There's the new one that's going in, and I'm going to remove this now. Well, here is the finished product. Lessons learnt, neatly lay out the 60 metres of polyline, starting in the centre and working outwards. Just do one section at a time, just pulling through as you need it, otherwise it just becomes a big mess at the base. So just work around, just gradually work your way out. Then we went over it again to hand tension as the instructions said. Then I put in one of the wedges at the tied end on the outer coat hanging end, and then just tension using a tape measure to try and centralise as best, get the arms square, and that's it. Then put the remaining wedges in, and then a final tension with the tensioners, about three clicks, get it nice and firm, and then tidied up the ends. I'll put a link at the bottom.